Hello, today I'm going to talk about an update to my winter recipes, in particular the addition of support and resistance to them as an added benefit to the overall trading process. I've got a chart loaded with both of my preferred winter trading recipes, and I'm going to focus only on the MACD parabolic SAR combination right now. You see I have support and resistance loaded. I have the momentum moving averages loaded. And then, of course, all of the rest appropriate to the MACD parabolic SAR methodology. Let's zoom in here. And as you can see, it's just waiting for the sell profit. At any time I choose, I could easily simply take the profit manually and walk away very happy. As you can see, this is done very well. Adding the support and resistance has also drastically reduced my exposure. And I can actually see just how much that's done just by simply turning off the indicator on indicator and returning it to a standard winter process. And you see that the trading hasn't changed very much for this coin. But by using support and resistance, this methodology lets you really fine-tune and trade on coins that you would literally never want to, and not have to worry about the situation ever going out of control. So, as you work forward and look through this methodology, it limits your exposure and gives you plenty of time to get out of the market literally at your leisure. Or if you simply want to take profit directly, you have that option as well. So this literally becomes the complete and total super strategy, if you will, that can minimize and deal with market conditions above and beyond most situations. And as you can see, it does very well. Even if you use dollar cost averaging approach of take profit for your sell method, $20 exposure maximum. And the thing about this process is you're using two different support and resistance boundaries. You're using two different trend line boundaries. So it is really going out of its way to hone in and tone down any unwanted signals and still provide a very resilient and powerful process. Now let's go to the 1 hour mark and let's go straight for the February-March crash of 2020. As you can see, this is really doing a phenomenal job. So if you're looking for a good, solid approach, this one is definitely it. Okay, so there's March and February. If yesterday's chart made Black Thursday look unimpressive to begin with, this chart doesn't even waste its time caring about it. Let's go back to strategy mode. Let's see just how bad it can get. And, well, it still doesn't care. Okay, let's amp it up. Well, let's zoom this in. There we are. February, March, April. There it is. Black Thursday. Let's amp it up. Okay, let's go all the way. Kick it in. Crank it up. Let's get down and nasty. Ooh, whoopee, look at that. We actually got some trades. Let's see how high it actually went. Even amped up to the highest level. 28% profit just waiting to be plucked. Maximum $190 to $200 for Black Thursday. So even really loaded up and look at these profits just waiting to be picked anytime you want them. This is quite reasonable. And for somebody that even wants a very aggressive context, it does a very good job. And that's on a standard take profit. No, that's strategy. Okay, so let's go to straight take profit and see what this did. Let's see if it makes a difference. And it does. Alright, so April, May, March, February and March. Black Thursday, again, pretty much nothing. Not even a blip on the radar, it doesn't even care. And here, the maximum number of trades and maximum exposure, $80, $90 tops if you're using an $11 exchange. Minimum profit. So this really looks quite nice. I personally prefer the strategy, even though it obviously gives a higher risk. But still, even if you want to really go all out, there's no arguing that just waiting to pull out 28% profit is quite nice. So I'm going to go back to my safe level where I can load up on a lot of coins and not worry about it. And $60 at the 1 hour mark. Now, I like the 1 minute because I like to see traffic, and it fits my personal style for trading. And here it's sitting on a 40% profit, just waiting to be plucked out of the air or get a sell signal. 40% off of $10. That's $4 just for an $11 exposure, or for $10 exposure, whichever you choose. That's not bad. But that's how simple this is. And by doing this kind of testing, I can very easily trade quite a few coins with a reasonable budget and actually get very good results. So $50, $20, $30, $60 right now is the high point, and that's counting Black Thursday. $30, $40, $20. That's pretty mild. And that is the classic MACD Parabolic SAR winter recipe, adding the support and resistance. That is quite a generous little profit. Now let's go to the Ichimoku Cloud recipe. Same thing, support and resistance identical to the MACD recipe. Ichimoku momentum identical to the MACD recipe. And then of course the trailing and my dollar cost averaging. Only, right now it's not even showing something on the map. That's how restrictive this one is. But let's go back to Black Thursday. Let's see just how this actually did it. Well, it stayed out of the market altogether. So for this particular coin, Black Thursday didn't even make it on the radar. So let's see if we can find a coin that did make it on the radar. And a nice thing about this is you can simply, as I did with the MACD, come in, turn this off, go to closing price, and you will get the standard Ichimoku winter recipe. But if you really want a deep-rooted surgical, it can give it to you. So basically with this one particular chart, you have a combination of 4 different possibilities. And let's see if I got that right. Support and resistance, yes, okay. It's not updating the chart. Let's see if we can force an update. TradingView has been having some unusual problems, so this is one way of doing it. If this doesn't actually correct it, just change time frames. It's part of the caching system. There we go. We got it to force update. So this coin didn't have anything. Now remember, this is a laser surgical process. When you add support and resistance, you are really toning this one down a lot. So this is the most conservative out of all of them, and may not really be that great of a selection at the 1 hour time frame, unless you're looking for a very specific entry point that you can put a lot of money down on. And as you can see, it's pretty much not finding anything at all that meets the qualifications of what it considers a good choice. So for a surgical recipe, this one really takes it to the glacial level and is actually more defensive than a permafrost one. Okay, let's try a smaller time frame. See if maybe we can find something that gives a bit of a selection. ETH is usually a good performer. And this actually is pretty restrictive. I found one coin earlier, I think, out of a test of 30 that produced a signal. So it's a matter of trying to find that one coin again. And that is like literally a needle in a haystack with this process. But that's what I wanted for this kind of a recipe. If I wanted to do a one hit, one time, everything down, this is it. If you're looking for a leveraged entry, this is also a good way of going, because it's not going to get in unless it has the perfect recipe. And this link is already within the Jackrabbit settings area. It's pinned already. It's my winter preferred. So be sure to check it out. Be sure to play with these settings to get the kind of recipe you're looking for. Just turning this off and going back to close, it's the standard winter recipe. So it gives you a good opportunity to be able to fish around and really look for some interesting coin combinations. Even coins that in trading with Jackrabbit previously would have been absolute nightmares. As you can see, this nightmare doesn't even exist. Even if you wanted to go to a more aggressive MACD parabolic SAR, it does an extremely good job. $20 exposure, that's it, for a coin that has a history of being a really tedious pain in the butt. So if you want to trade coins that are difficult, either of these winter recipes, with or without support and resistance, do a good job. With support and resistance, you really get a good, high quality potential. So let's set this up. You can see both of them side by side. And you can actually literally just cycle through the coins, looking at all of the coins no sane person in her right mind would trade, and yet seeing how with this combination it pretty much takes the risk out altogether, except for the perfect and most highest level quality. And let's go back here. This is an actual unusuality. The fact that it's actually accumulated 5 times already is very unusual for this coin. So that gives you an idea of just how really controlled this process is. So, as you look forward to hedging against the market and the turbulence of the elections, and there will be some turbulence, unfortunately, this is the best way to do it. Make sure you think about your portfolio, no matter who makes it in the office. It really doesn't matter. And it really isn't just restricted to elections within the United States, but elections worldwide always add turbulence to the market. Policy is a pendulum that swings back and forth constantly. Portfolios need to last 30 years or more. So it's a matter of picking the right recipe to make sure you stay on top of the game. And this kind of a recipe, and either one of these, I can literally set them up and not worry about them at all. They are that good of a job in hedging against the market. Controlled, complete, and systematic. That is the epitome of sustainable trading. Trading with the trend, trading with support and resistance, and trading with indicators that have high reliability. And there are a dozen ways in looking at both of these that you can really take them in different directions. For example, taking out parabolic SAR and just using MACD, replacing parabolic SAR with a stochastic or an RSI. All of these derivatives provide an incredible amount of resources and availability to manage your risk assessment in a very simple direction. And even if you don't want to use all of this, and you simply want to use a consistency of two, risk mitigation or support and resistance, and the momentum is an excellent combination. Support and resistance and MACD is an excellent combination. So within these charts you have a wide availability of options that exceed any regular standard process. You can hedge against any given market, whether long or short. As an update was published this morning that lets you actually short support and resistance. So you now have the option of both directions. Check it out, look it over, test it, take advantage of what these two have to offer. Really hone in and tune on the basis of the market. Because now you have a resource that will let you trade even the worst coin. Let's pick a coin that has historically been an absolute nightmare. Ooh. A coin that is brutal, low quality, and just vicious to trade. Again, none of the technicals match up. So this one doesn't even get in. And it won't get into 99.9% of all trades unless everything lines up perfectly. So this combination's a one shot in a million. But even here, beam on a 1 minute candlestick, only $20. That's it. If you want to go for broke and really rack it up and actually sit here and watch a nightmare altogether, here it is. One of the most volatile, aggressive, and bloodthirsty markets you can trade in. And yet, it does exceptionally well. Now, because of that, I wouldn't necessarily even trust anything this says, because it's probably not going to be right. Trust what this says. Whatever your position size is your exposure. I like the 1 minute because it works well. But you have a wide variety of choices. And a lot of these trades will not take place within the maximum limits of one time frame. For example, this is roughly 3.5 days. So more than likely it will buy within one 3.5 day period and sell within another 3.5 day period. There are cases where it might do both in one time frame period, but they are not as common as you might think, as this does a very good job in watching the market carefully. So check it out. Give it a good thorough shake over and trade safely because the winter is going to be bumpy. Until next time.